Welcome to a quick guide on the helicopter event in Project Zomboid. So if you're not aware of what that is, at some point, talking about normal apocalypse settings, at some point between day 6 and day 9, a helicopter will come to the area where the player character is, fly around and cause a whole lot of ruckus. So the way you can get a little bit of an advanced warning for this is by finding a radio that has the automated emergency broadcast frequency. This frequency changes every game, so it's a random frequency. You can either find it in a radio pre-programmed. Any emergency vehicle radios have a high chance of having this, so any of your firefighter trucks or police cars or ambulances. If you really can't find it anywhere, you can also manually look through every single frequency, add a new preset, save it, tune into that, and check if it shows here channel automated emergency broadcast. That's a little bit tedious, but it can be done. Then, on the day of the helicopter, if you listen to this emergency broadcast channel, every hour on the hour, it will do a little weather report. And on the day of your helicopter, it will say after the weather report, this notification here, air activity detected. The first time you can see that is at 7 in the morning. That's the earliest you can get it. So this updates at 7. The weather itself updates at midnight, where you have weather for today, weather for tomorrow, air activity at 7. I mean, you can listen at 8, at 9, but keep in mind, at 9 the helicopter could have already started. Now, so what does the helicopter actually do? For that, we're gonna go to a position with a slightly, better or worse view and look at what actually happens. Alright, we are at the top of the Rosewood Fire Department, locked away in a bathroom, and we're looking here in debug at the zombie population map. So you can see like the surrounding area and all the currently active zombies. So this is kind of the player chunks. So these are the zombies the game actually actively simulates. You see a couple white dots. These are like passive zombies that don't actually exist in the game, that the game keeps track of, though. There are more of them, but currently they're not moving, so the game doesn't actually simulate it, cut down on performance. So we're just gonna sit here now, fast forward time until the helicopter actually begins. You see zombies moving around a little bit as meta event sounds happen, etc. There's the helicopter. Now you see movement. All the zombies here in the area suddenly moving in this direction. And, if they come across something nearby, they smash it down. So they were moving down here, and now they're all converging to this spot. Moving into that direction. Listen a little bit more. Yeah, new sound source. Now they're moving there. So what the game basically tries to do with a helicopter, it simulates a helicopter flying around near the player, picking a spot and then flying from that spot to another spot, and every time it reaches one of the spots it makes a loud noise, and all the zombies are trying to get to the source of that noise. Now, this not only affects zombies in the current area that you see, but if we zoom out a little bit, we should see also, I should also see the non-real zombies. Do I need to... But keep in mind, so the helicopter has a very, very long sound range. Let's say about 600 tiles or so in the area. So even zombies from around this area will move to the source of the sound. Now we're gonna briefly, there we see some of the inactive area being incorporated here. Now we've been sitting inside a bathroom here. We're gonna now go outside where the helicopter quote-unquote can spot us. Just to be on the safe side, we're gonna disable our invisibility cheat, so that we're not gonna have any complications here that the helicopter might not spot us because we're invisible. And we're gonna see what happens here to the helicopter sound. Alright, now it's actually showing me all the zombies that are coming in from everywhere. Now, for this demonstration, I'm playing on a slightly higher zombie population, but you can kind of see a little bit of the activity. And again, if we zoom in, you can occasionally see kind of exactly where the source of that sound is. Oh, please tell me he's not going home already. Is he going to come back for another pass? So the helicopter event lasts randomly between 1 and 5 hours. Well, now they're all running to the car alarm. House alarm. Let me just get to the chopper. The helicopter doesn't come, we make a helicopter. So once again, helicopter comes, generates a sound, all the zombies are moving to the source of the sound. It's a little bit hard to exactly pinpoint where the sound is, but here's the general rule. So the game always knows what your location is, and the helicopter sound will originate somewhere around the player. It picks a random tile, tile A, tile B, and the helicopter flies from tile A to tile B. Now, the size of the area around the player depends on one single factor. Has the helicopter spotted the player character? Now, what does spotting mean? Spotting just means, are you outside or are you inside? Forget about windows, like the helicopter is not spotting you through windows or anything. There's a lot of wrong information floating around there. It's really just as simple as inside, outside. In fact, if you're outside, but you're in the middle of a dense forest, that basically counts as inside for the helicopter, and they can't spot you. So, coming back to this little screen, if you're outside and the helicopter did detect you, the sound source of the helicopter will be within a 50 tile radius of your character. So the likelihood of zombies moving exactly to you, to your building, is higher. If you are inside, or in a forest, or whatever, hidden from the helicopter, this radius is going to be 100 tiles. So it's much less likely that it's going to be right on top of you, but it's not impossible. Like, if you get unlucky, the helicopter might still just, randomly select exactly the tile you're on, make a lot of sound there, and all the zombies that got spooked by the helicopter will move in your direction. So, what does that mean then for strategies on how to survive the helicopter, right? Outside of, best strategy is be in debug mode, and just have God mode on, then you don't need to worry. But no, on a serious level. There's two general approaches whenever you see a discussion about the helicopter event on how to handle it. Option one is people who say, you're just gonna go upstairs in your base on a higher level, find a room without windows, or whatever. I mean, again, windows don't matter, but whatever. Find a quiet room. Well, let's say windows don't matter for the helicopter, but if the helicopter brings in a bunch of zombies and they spot you through a window, that's a problem. So yeah, find a windowless room, sit there, grab a couple books, and let's just read them and wait for it to be over. This works, I want to say 80% of the time. 10% of the time you're gonna have some trouble, and other 10% of the time you're just gonna be dead and get swarmed by zombies. So it's generally a working strategy, but it's not 100% reliable. Option B is you just grab a car, you do have a car by day 6, right? Just grab a car, drive somewhere out in the boonies, and just drive around. Somewhere, like the helicopter pulls zombies in from a huge distance, right? Once again, let's demonstrate this. Like, you can see the buildings of Rosewood here, and these guys back here, they're moving. They're coming closer. They're not gonna make it all the way here, even if the helicopter would last for 4 full hours. But they're gonna be coming a little bit closer. And especially if you're playing with multiple helicopter events, then the next time the helicopter comes, they come a little bit closer again, and closer, and a little bit closer. And the more helicopters you take in your base, the more your base gets a little bit overrun. So driving somewhere out of town where there are no zombies around, that the helicopter can even attract in the first place, is probably your best bet. Alternatively, you can also use the helicopter sound to just drag in zombies, so you know how many zombies are still active, and just walk around on the field. Keep in mind, you're walking faster than the zombies, unless you get extremely swarmed by zombie masses. You should just be fine, walk in circles in a field, and, you know, just herding the zombies out of town. That will not work if you're playing with any amount of sprinters. You should not be on foot with the helicopter outside on sprinter settings. But yeah, that is basically a quick explanation of what happens during the helicopter event. You know, just to recap, so it's basically, there's no actual physical helicopter, it's a sound source, you know, that moves around from certain points on the map. The distance of that sound source to your character is determined by whether or not you are inside or outside. The length of the helicopter event is randomized between 1 and 5 hours. And you can use the emergency channel to get advance notice on when the helicopter happens. With that information, you should be well prepared. And when the next time the helicopter announces its presence by air activity detected in the radio, jump in your car, grab a couple books, some food, some water, and drive to the edge of the map, pretty much, or as far away as you think is needed, and just sit in the book, read books for a day, and then return to a base that is still completely untouched. Alright, I hope that clears it up. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. For now, I'm gonna put a cut in here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.